Hello and welcome back to Learning English Pro. I hope you all had a lovely holiday season. I am back with this English lesson on war vocabulary. War is an unfortunate aspect of human life, but the vocabulary involved is essential for those studying history and for anyone interested in the daily news. Make sure to check out the word list in the description, which contains all the words covered in today's video. Let's jump straight into our lesson and take a look at the word war. War is a violent conflict between two or more groups. We could also say that war is a state of armed conflict between different countries or different groups within a country. Groups involved in a war can be called opponents, enemies, or participants. When different groups fight together in a war, we have the word ally to describe this relationship. But what if you're not involved in a war? Then you are neutral. You are not supporting or helping either side in a conflict, disagreement. You're being impartial. We also have the term neutral countries. A battle is a violent encounter between opposing sides, and this is often part of a larger war. And when it comes to battles, you will often hear the word combat. Combat is defined as fighting between armed forces. In war, there are many different types of combat. In ancient battles, sword fighting was the preferred method of combat. And up until a few hundred years ago, spear fighting was very common as well. Combat involving guns is known as a firefight, and it can also be referred to as a gunfight. When combat involves heavy-duty vehicles, it is called armoured warfare. What does the word warfare mean? The definition of this word is engagement in or the activities involved in war or conflict. Combat at sea is called naval warfare. You may also hear the term sea battle. This would describe a specific moment of fighting at sea. Fighting in the sky is called aerial combat, aerial warfare, and a battle in the sky can be called a dogfight. In most wars, there is a military involved. Synonyms of military include armed forces, militia, and army. Army is often used in a general way to describe the military, but an army is a specific part of the military. A synonym of army is ground forces. These are the men and women of the military who engage in battle on the ground. If you serve in the army, you are called a soldier or a trooper. In groups, soldiers can be referred to simply as men or as a troop. A typical vehicle associated with the army is a tank. This can also be referred to as an armoured combat vehicle. Another vehicle associated with the army is the helicopter. An informal synonym of helicopter is chopper. We also have the troop transport. This vehicle is charged with delivering troops to the battlefield. An important area of the military is the Navy. This branch of the armed services conducts military operations at sea, and vessels associated with the Navy include warships, aircraft carriers, and submarines. A soldier in the Navy is referred to as Navy personnel or as a sailor. Another branch of the military which is similar to the Navy is the Marine Corps. Corps is a French word, so we do not pronounce the P or the S here. The Marine Corps is amphibious, meaning it conducts its operations at both sea and land. Personnel of the Marine Corps are simply called Marines. An important aspect of the military in modern warfare is the Air Force. And of course, the Air Force conducts military operations in the sky. If you work for the Air Force, you are known as a pilot or as an airman. Vessels operated by the Air Force are simply called aircraft. When a pilot engages in an attack with an aircraft, it is known as an air strike. There is usually a target involved, and this refers to a person or a place selected as the aim of an attack. In the last century, bombing has become a huge part of modern warfare. This is when multiple bombs are dropped by a bomber. A bomber is a specific aircraft designed to drop bombs. One group who really suffers during a war is civilians. A civilian is a person not in the armed services or the police force. Okay, let's move on to our next segment of our lesson and discuss other types of war. First up, we have the noun revolution. A revolution is a struggle between large groups that leads to a major change in government and society. If you are involved in a revolution, you are called a revolutionary. One of the most important revolutions in human history is the French Revolution. This had a seismic impact not only on France but the entire world, and it continues to do so. This revolution was really important because it led to social and government change. We also have the words rebellion, revolt, and uprising. These all aim to change the government, but they don't overthrow class relations and social arrangements as a revolution does. Let's take a look at our next type of war, which is a civil war. This is a war between citizens of the same country. And another type of war is a religious war. A religious war may also be referred to as a crusade. And someone partaking in a crusade is simply called a crusader. In the next segment, we will be taking a look at the strategies of war. Let's break down this word strategy and its synonym tactic. In war, this is the art of planning and directing overall military operations and movements in a war or battle. An essential part of war strategy is defense. Defense is the action of protecting from or resisting attack. And on screen I've put the regular verb to defend. We could say the soldier defended the village. A common aspect of defense is an army base or a fort. This is a defensive structure used to house soldiers and protect equipment. And we also have the verb to fortify. This means to provide a place with defensive works as protection against attack. The verb to guard means to watch over something in order to protect or control it. A trench is a long, narrow ditch dug by troops to provide a place of shelter from enemy fire. Use of trenches in war is called trench warfare, and this type of warfare is really associated with World War I. The last aspect of defense we'll take a look at is retreat. To retreat is to withdraw from or leave an area in an orderly way. Soldiers often retreat after losing a battle to prevent further losses. The opposite of defense is called offense. This word means the act of attacking someone or something. Let's take a quick look at the verb or noun to attack. This means to take aggressive military action against a place or enemy forces with weapons or armed force. A common offensive strategy is a siege. This is when a town or a city is surrounded by enemy armed forces. This is done to cut off supplies with the aim of compelling inside to surrender. A similar strategy used by the Navy is a blockade or a naval blockade. This is done to deny an enemy the use of their own ports to transfer personnel and goods to and from enemy territory. When a soldier is taken prisoner by an enemy, the soldier is referred to as a prisoner of war, or a POW for short. These prisoners are often used in negotiations between enemy sides. So after the war is finished, what are the outcomes of war? In every war, there is casualties. Casualties are people killed or injured in a war. On the news, it is common to hear terms such as civilian casualties or someone referred to as a casualty of war. The goal of anyone engaging in a war is victory. And victory is when you win a war. To win is an irregular verb. The opposite of victory is defeat, when you lose a war. And like the verb to win, to lose is also an irregular verb. In some wars, there is no clear victory or defeat for either side. In this case, we have the word stalemate to describe this situation. We can use this word in any kind of conflict or contest when neither side gains very much. And that brings us to the end of this English lesson on war vocabulary. Let me know what you thought of this lesson in the comments below. I love hearing from my subscribers. I will probably do a follow-up video to this one on the military, as there is lots and lots more vocabulary to cover. And if you're looking for even more English vocabulary on a different subject, head over to my YouTube channel where you'll find a huge selection of videos. And if you can't find what you're looking for, let me know and I'll make a video for you. Coming up on screen are some video suggestions just for you, along with the link to subscribe. For even more English vocabulary content, head over to my community tab. That just leaves me to say I hope you have a fantastic day, Happy New Year, and remember, keep learning English like a pro.